A Virginia court rules a lesbian mother is fit to keep her son. There are more procedural hearings on the double murder charges tomorrow morning, and while Simpson insists that he is innocent, Los Angeles authorities are now saying that parts of his story are beginning to unravel. NBC's Larry Carroll tonight with the latest on the case against him.
The murder case against OJ Simpson is getting stronger. Law enforcement sources tell NBC News that Simpson estate caretaker Cato Kalin confirmed that Simpson was not at home waiting for a limousine at 11 p.m., contradicting Simpson's attorney Robert Shapiro. Kalin also tied Simpson to the blood-stained Bronco in his driveway, saying that the football player was driving it the night of the murders. NBC News has learned that law enforcement officials have obtained testimony from a stewardess aboard American Airlines 668 to Chicago, the flight Simpson took the night of the murders. She told police that Simpson kept a bag over his hand for the entire 4-hour flight. Police say this undermines Simpson's defense that bloody towels found in the Chicago hotel room were the result of a cut on his hand from a glass he smashed upon hearing of his ex-wife's death. A grand jury indictment against Simpson would cancel next week's preliminary hearing, in which the DA would be forced to reveal much of its evidence and strategy to the defense. Also today, Los Angeles police detectives completed their search of the wooded lot near Chicago's O'Hare Plaza Hotel, but found no murder weapon.
I think they've looked in every hole around this hotel.
They also say the murder weapon is neither a sword nor an entrenching tool, as suggested in earlier published reports. NBC News has been told that both murders were done with the same knife. Meantime, Simpson friend Al Cowlings, behind the wheel Friday when Simpson tried to flee, remains free on $250,000 bond. Prosecutors have not decided whether to charge him. Today, Simpson got more than 100 letters at county jail and a visit from his 24-year-old son, Jason. Larry Carroll, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Simpson problem of spousal abuse. Men killed almost 200 wives and girlfriends in California alone last year, and now that state is beginning to toughen the laws. Here's NBC.
Told officers police had been called to her house 8 other times when Simpson had beaten her. The prosecutor recommended Simpson be placed in a 1-year group counseling program for men who batter their wives and be put on 3 years probation. Simpson was not. Under the new law, both would be mandatory. Prosecutors also asked that Simpson serve 30 days in jail. California law doesn't provide for mandatory jail time in these cases. Simpson was permitted individual counseling at his convenience, was placed on 2 years probation, and got no jail. Some battered women say the Simpson case made them look at their own problems differently. Among those present at yesterday's arraignment of OJ Simpson, Karen Chavez, who says she's been a battered wife for 19 years. Los Angeles.
OJ Simpson breaks her silence.
I caught him in a lie.
Called before the grand jury, today she testifies about her strange encounter with OJ on the night of the murders.
He looked crazy, like a madman gone mad, insane.
Tonight, she tells hard copy what might have been behind the gruesome crime.
They thought he went crazy thinking that she was out there with another man.
And about her personal conversations with OJ's ex-wife.
She said she was being followed.
By OJ?
By OJ, yeah. You know, she said if anything happens, just keep running.
In the case against OJ, it's the grand jury witness.
I'm Terry Murphy. Barry Nolan's on assignment. Glad you could join us. She's the one woman OJ Simpson may have to worry about tonight, a key witness who has come forward to tell the grand jury what she says she saw the night of the murders. Doug Bruckner has the exclusive details.
She is the woman who may blow the OJ Simpson case wide open. A woman who claims to have run into the football star within minutes of the murders. Now she's been subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury hearing evidence in the OJ Simpson case.
In my point of view, I caught him in a lie.
His spirit visibly broken by the mounting evidence against him, OJ Simpson is still proclaiming his innocence, and the sports legend's high-powered attorney is preparing a vigorous defense. OJ claims he was at home at the time of the murders, but in this exclusive interview comes a serious new challenge to OJ's alibi. The witness says she was in her car just 2 blocks from the crime scene when OJ came driving by.
He looked crazy. He was enraged. Just looked like he was just crazy. He ran the red light, and the only reason he stopped because there was another car already in front of him. He turned around and looked at me, gave me a look, you know, like he was really angry, you know, like it was my fault or something. And then he was yelling at the other guy in front of him, blocking him to move his car. Get the car out of here, get the hell out, move, move, you know. He wouldn't shut up. He was just screaming and freaking out at the guy.
According to the witness, the traffic altercation with OJ here happened right around the time of the murders, just before 11 p.m. OJ's alibi is that he was home at his Brentwood mansion at that time, waiting for a limousine to take him to the airport. The witness says she's been told by detectives OJ's story doesn't wash.
They said that the limo driver stated something that he didn't get to the house till around 11, and that he sat out there and waited on him.
Hard Copy first reported last week that the limousine service might not be supporting OJ's alibi. But it wasn't just the time frame that made this witness go to police, it was OJ's behavior that night.
I thought he was drunk.
Could he have been under the influence of drugs?
Probably. I mean, he was acting out of character. I mean, he was really like a madman gone mad, insane.
This witness, who does not want her real name used, surfaced last week, but she didn't tell her full story until over the weekend. Like many others, she was afraid. Police were so happy she came forward, she says they shared with her their theory on the motive for the murders.
They thought he went crazy thinking that she had was out there with another man. You know, another man was in her home.
Police and prosecutors have been mum on how the murders happened, but they told their witness their theory on the sequence of events.
From what I can gather, just bits and pieces, it seemed like he was outside getting attacked, and she came out there after that.
Brentwood's main street, San Vicente Boulevard, a favorite of the area's joggers. When she was alive, this is where Nicole Simpson liked to run. In a strange coincidence, the key witness in Nicole's murder case was once one of her jogging pals.
I would see Nicole on San Vicente running, and I would run with her now and then. Well, not together, but we'd connect as we were running and talk. And that was a time when OJ was following her. She said she was being followed.
By OJ?
By OJ, yeah. You know, she said if anything happens, just keep running.
She also saw Nicole with her children, often at one of the neighborhood parks. But even in those peaceful times, Nicole seemed to be on guard about OJ.
She felt like she felt trapped because everywhere she turned, she felt like she had to watch somebody, watch for OJ.
Did you ask her why? I mean,
she told me she had a restraining order against him, and he didn't seem to want to let her go. That he didn't seem to couldn't deal with the divorce and hoped they would get back together.
OJ Simpson has yet to have his day in court. When this woman testifies before the grand jury this week, the defense won't be able to cross-examine her. But OJ's legal team is gearing up, and they can be expected to have some bombshells of their own. No one who's been following the twists and turns of the Simpson case expects the surprises to end anytime soon.
I had to speak up against just that one incident, not necessarily the murders or anything, but I knew he wasn't at home. He lied. In my point of view, I caught him in a lie.
OJ Simpson remains behind bars tonight in a special wing of the Los Angeles County Men's Central Jail. He sits alone in a 9-by-7-foot cell, much like this one. Once a day, he's brought to a jailhouse exercise room for a brief workout, alone. Every other day, he's allowed to shower, alone. Tonight, OJ Simpson, once beloved by millions of fans, faces his toughest battle yet, alone. His next hearing may come as early as tomorrow morning, and we'll continue to follow the story. Now, a war hero takes...
And I could see he was scared.
Robert Cardassian, Simpson's personal attorney, reading from OJ's so-called final letter, last week named the men who were in that golf party.
My golfing buddies, Haas, Alan Austin, Mike, Craig.
On my way up to the green, I asked Alan, I said to Alan, you know, Juice sure seems out of character this morning. What's with the Juice man? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, well, you know, I've never seen Juice behave this way. And, you know, I said, something must be going on, man. Something must be bothering him or something.
If attorney Robert Shapiro pleads Simpson not guilty by reason of insanity, Mesko could be a powerful ally.
Would you give evidence?
Absolutely, for the defense of OJ Simpson.
He is very, very depressed, exceedingly emotional, and as you could see today in the courtroom, when asked if that was his true name, he had a little bit of difficulty even giving that response.
Mr. Renthal Simpson, is that your true name, sir?
Please speak up so you may be heard.
Yes. When the story broke, I was shocked. You know, it was almost like losing a family member. You went from shock, dismay, to anger, to grief for everyone involved, and then to denial.
Denial, a desperate emotion shared by millions across the country for a man who once wore 32, but now wears many more numbers across his chest.
OJ Simpson's next day in court is scheduled for...
Have complete coverage. Lightning strikes the high-tech...
Administration announces a breakthrough on Korea. Good evening.
Accused of a double murder. And again tonight we have several reports. We begin with the latest developments. Simpson unintentionally caused a courtroom flurry when he complained about his cell. He said he'd do anything rather than go back there. Those comments were caught by a hot microphone. The prosecution revealed a widely reported piece of evidence, a bloody ski mask, doesn't exist. And Simpson will be allowed to keep a special pillow in his cell where he remains under a suicide watch.
We will have reports tonight on the Simpson investigation in Chicago and on some of the still controversial media coverage. But we begin our coverage tonight with...
Second appearance before a judge, O.J. Simpson was granted rights to receive visitors at jail. He was also allowed to have a special pillow he has requested for his jailhouse bed to help him sleep. But other than that, this court appearance was devoted to requesting full disclosure of the evidence against Simpson. O.J. Simpson looked much more alert in today's court appearance than the dazed and confused man who was here on Monday. His lawyer argued for full access to evidence held by the prosecution, including a widely reported bloody ski mask supposedly taken from O.J.'s house. The prosecution said no such thing exists.
So you say that there is no ski mask?
There is no ski mask.
Okay.
Another controversial incident in the courtroom, a television technician was ordered to remove a microphone that had been placed on the lawyer's table in apparent violation of the judge's ground rules. O.J.'s attorney, Robert Shapiro, thought it was placed there to eavesdrop on his private conversations with his client, and he was outraged.
Private conversations to be tape recorded or overheard are illegal in this state.
Also, the O.J. Simpson grand jury is through taking evidence and was set to begin deliberations in the afternoon. One of those who testified before the grand jury was Simpson family friend Kato Kalin. He was reported to have information that discredits O.J.'s alibi, but Kalin's lawyer said not true.
That he has never told a law enforcement official that he saw Mr. Simpson on the evening of June 12th driving the Bronco, because he did not. And second of all, I can tell you that he has not told anyone in law enforcement that Mr. Simpson was not at home at 11 o'clock when the limo arrived.
This morning, O.J. Simpson was seen going back to jail in his jailhouse blues wearing handcuffs. The Los Angeles judge who sentenced O.J. in 1989 on a wife-beating charge emerged today to defend himself.
The sentence I gave Mr. Simpson was almost exactly the punishment recommended by the city attorney.
Judge Ronald Schoenberg says he is being criticized unfairly. However, the prosecutors who handled that case have said recently that they were outraged at the light sentence Judge Schoenberg gave to O.J. Simpson back in 1989. John Gibson, NBC News, Los Angeles.
as police sources suggest the evidence against him is mounting. And tonight, a grand jury is reportedly close to indicting him. NBC's Larry Carroll reports tonight on another amazing day in Los Angeles.
First of all, that it was only
in his second court appearance, O.J. Simpson was more alert and animated. And for the first time since his arrest, the public heard from Simpson when bailiffs asked him if he'd like to wait in a holding area during a recess.
You want to keep that stuff with you? You know, I'll do anything to stay out of that.
Later, when proceedings continued, Simpson's attorney Robert Shapiro got just about everything he wanted, including an admission from the prosecutor that evidence rumored in the media does not exist.
If there is a ski mask with bloodstains, we would like to be able to examine that today.
So are you saying that there is no ski mask?
There is no ski mask.
All right.
Shapiro was granted access to all materials collected by the prosecution, including the raw notes of forensics experts. He also won the right to hear tape recordings of Simpson's 2-hour interview with police the day after the murders and the right to privately examine all of the evidence collected in the case. Police still do not have a murder weapon, believed to be a 15-inch knife. A planned search of lockers at O'Hare Airport was called off because of problems with a search warrant. Members of the Los Angeles County Grand Jury continued deliberating toward a possible Simpson indictment. Yesterday, the panel heard from Simpson estate guest Brian Cato Kalin. NBC News and other media reported that Kalin told law enforcement that Simpson was not at home when a limo arrived to take him to the airport. Late today, NBC News was told that Kalin has subsequently changed his story and told authorities that he cannot be sure whether or not Simpson was at home. Courtroom proceedings were interrupted briefly when it was discovered that the microphone on the defense table had also broadcast privileged conversations between Simpson and Shapiro.
The court specifically issued an order that there were to be no microphones on counsel table.
I find it absolutely irresponsible on the person who put a microphone in such a position that private conversations and private thoughts between a person who is charged with first-degree murder and his lawyer are overheard.
After the hearing, Simpson, seen for the first time in his jail clothes, was returned to jail. Grand jury sources tell NBC News that its investigation is now finished and that a decision on an indictment could come later today. Larry Carroll, NBC News, Los Angeles.
The Simpson case was also on the agenda in Washington today. The National Organization for Women was among those urging Congress to pass the Violence Against Women Act, a 4-year-old piece of legislation.
Today, prosecutors put to rest a widely circulated rumor about a critical piece of evidence. Police did not recover a bloody ski mask. Simpson's attorney asked the judge to order prosecutors to turn over everything they do have so the defense can prepare.
Your Honor, the people have nothing to hide. To the extent that we have those notes in our possession, Mr. Shapiro is welcome to them.
The defense team also asked for notes taken by detectives investigating the case, as well as additional material from the coroner's office. The coroner's report describes how the murders were committed in graphic detail. Prosecutors won't comment, but it's reported that a source at the coroner's office says it was the male victim who was attacked first. Published reports say Ronald Goldman was stabbed more than 20 times, his right ear nearly severed. Sources say prosecutors believe Goldman was attacked from behind and he put up a fierce struggle. As for OJ's ex-wife Nicole, she was reportedly knocked down by her assailant's first blow. Then her throat was slashed, a cut so deep she was almost decapitated. In court today, O.J. seemed to be less tired than he did on Monday, but it was clear that his time behind bars has not been easy. During a break in today's proceedings, when guards asked the football star to return to a holding cell just outside the courtroom, O.J. asked if he could stay right where he was.
You know what, let's just straight back. You want to keep that stuff with you? You know, I'll do anything to stay out of that cell. Let's go. No, I'm going to stay. Mr. Simpson. I don't care. I'll do anything to stay out of that cell. It's a city of millions.
But a short time later, O.J. was ordered to leave the courtroom. As O.J. headed back to his jail cell, a grand jury was meeting to hear key witnesses against the football star. Among them, the detectives who've been working the case, and this woman who says she saw an agitated O.J. in his car just 2 blocks from the crime scene at about the same time the murders took place. And then there's this man, family friend Cato Kalin, who lives in the guest house at OJ's Brentwood estate. Kalin reportedly testified about OJ's whereabouts the night of the murder, information which could prove critical to prosecutors as they attempt to challenge OJ's alibi. But with all the evidence against OJ, one piece of the puzzle is missing: the murder weapon. Police in Chicago didn't find it when they searched a field near the hotel where OJ stayed briefly after the killings. Now, sources tell Hard Copy detectives are busy scouring every inch of Los Angeles International Airport, looking for the knife believed to be used in the murders.
We have not found the murder weapon. It's a knife. It's a knife.
And now Hard Copy has learned that this man has testified before the LA grand jury. His name is Jose Camacho. He works at a downtown shop that sells sporting goods. Jose says OJ visited his store several times last month while filming a pilot for a new TV series nearby.
Yeah, he just came in looking for knives, you know. That was it.
What did you sell him?
I didn't sell him anything. I was showing, you know, a couple of knives, and that was it.
It's been reported police believe the murders were committed with a very large, jagged-edged knife, perhaps around 15 inches long. And Jose says that when OJ was in his shop, he was looking at knives of that size.
There was something similar like this, you know, but larger size. We don't have any. I sold the last one about 3-4 days ago.
How big was it?
It was about 14 inch. Something like that.
Tonight, OJ is back in jail. Except for a brief visit by a close family friend and his eldest son, OJ sits alone. He's said to still be depressed and is still under a suicide watch.
One thing's for certain, there are still more bombshells ahead in the OJ Simpson saga. We'll continue to follow the story. Now, Paul Tarr is a grieving father who made the wheels of justice grind to a halt. It happened at the sentencing of a serial killer. The normally sterile and somber proceedings were interrupted by a moment of stark human emotion. The judicial bureaucracy was forced to remember a victim, a girl named Holly.